I'm only adjusting one side right now. I'm really not caring about the other side at all, because once I've done this, which took me no time, I did in front of you. Once I did this, now I'm just going to come into, it's in geometry, and say modify topology, mirror and weld. Christian, I agree with you. You got a lot more menacing when we put them down like this. Check the topology. But you see how we are still in such early phases? Now I'm going to balloon these guys out towards each other. And I'm going to Dynamesh. But I'm going to use Dynamesh with project, because I don't want to lose these cool things. And in the span of whatever time we spend here, I'm not quite sure of it, we have a model with some energy that kind of came out of nowhere. I had no idea today I was going to sculpt this guy for you. But he's there. I did him in I think 30 minutes, something like that. And I could do this over and over and over again. And now all I got to do is go into this guy on the left, my production guy, and I got to finish him. But I didn't do enormous amounts of detail and wrinkling here. I just figured out offsets, structural offsets, structural elements, muscling or structuring him. I did everything so that each part had a significant impact. So we just kind of threw ourselves off to the side. We put ourselves in a position of having to solve a problem, which instantly put our creative brain in play. And then once the creative brain was in play, we played with things. Once it was actioned, we were just playing around, trying to figure stuff out. And then once we started to lock, we did a little bit of extra analysis, but not too much. And immediately got him into this position so that we can now start to really define who he is. And take it further, you know, maybe from this angle he's definitely aggressive. But from this angle we're on a bit of a teddy bear land. In the back leg and in the arm, I'm not sure, the head, maybe we need to take this up. Turn symmetry on, and I'm going to turn AccuCurve off. No, that looks goofy. But we got another range to kind of play with this guy. Make sense? What do you think of the process here? What do you think of this? Now again, the key thing here is that we're unlocking the artist inside. Not just getting you to produce another boss creature done the way it's been done before. We do that. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because that's how we make a living, and it's enormous amounts of fun. We're artists. We get to do this. It's really cool. But this is when we're kind of letting that ambitious artist out and saying, you know, let's say you want to be Neville Page, you want to be Carlos Fuentes, you want to really push what you can do, you want to live at that edge, you got that hunger. This is one of these really quick workflows. You can do, you know, 10 of these in a week, 20 of these in a week, you know, and then the next week you push them all further. So now I would go through and I would do my muscling stage or my structure stage. It's already kind of intact there, though, but there's some things to figure out, like rhino foot. So let's do a quick rhino feet. So they have 3 toes. And then we need to see it from the side. So there we go. So large bone, little bit, and then look at that. Pretty massive spread because they've got so much weight, massive fat pads underneath there. What's in the back of them? Anything else? Anything extraordinary behind? Kind of not really. But I'm noticing in the back that's a really strong angle. And there's a running rhinoceros. Here's another one. So now we can go in and start to use our reference. But it's not. It's like we're using reference to help us solve problems that we've created in a really cool way, I think, anyways. So third toe, middle, and then let's say start to because they had a real strong back angle there. Move that bone slightly on the inside. Big rib cage. And this part you know. Deltoid, though, in this particular case is moving up to the head of the humerus and along the spine. So it doesn't move out as a bulk here. It's different. Cool. So they still look aggressive. Let's give them a belly or lack of belly. And you guys could take this further here, right? This is all stuff you know. Take a orangutan. Da-da-da. I'd have to noodle. And then S3, and you go in and you start to noodle. You can do this in multiple layers, but I like to just kind of noodle and draw on them for a little bit, see if I can find anything that's kind of interesting. And sometimes that drawing becomes useful. Switch back over. The cool thing is that I'm just using different processes that are already in ZBrush to kind of make my life easier and discover form as opposed to having to invent everything from scratch. Now I got to figure out, how does the bone connect? Where's their nose? They have their nose kind of underneath here. But it's a problem I have to solve. I've got to kind of figure it out. And that's what I want. Sometimes also defining eyes too early can really just kill a sculpt, as well as defining the mouth. Maybe there's other things that need to get defined. So you may want to avoid having eyes, nose, and lips in there, because it'll really, really start to define something. There's a saying Rembrandt had: you can only really emphasize either the nose or the, or sorry, not the nose, but the mouth or the eyes, because they both really speak to people. So you want to kind of de-emphasize the eyes or de-emphasize the mouth to really kind of push a design. Otherwise, everything in the face is very intense and competitive. But if you emphasize eyes, then you're good to go. How are we doing? Or if you emphasize mouths. This is a quote I learned from Odd Nerdrum, by the way.